Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Derp Your Hooves. And today I'm going to go over just a really basic way on how to use AirLand FS to fly the helicopters that are not the H-135 or the H-145. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and there's my shortcut to AirLand FS. You can pin it in the taskbar, however you like to do it. So let's go ahead and launch Microsoft Flight Simulator, and let me show you how to use it. Okay, so here we are, and we're in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I've already launched AirLand FS. Now, if you have it in windowed mode, you can obviously go ahead and, go to your shortcut. There's a million different ways you can access your programs because you want to launch AirLand FS. Usually after you've already gotten to your location, so I already have it loaded, so I can just Alt-Tab and it's right there. But you can, click the Windows menu and type in AirLand, and it'll find it in your shortcuts, but you have to install the program first. And this isn't how to install it or do anything like that, because you can use the short, simple wizards after you download it from flightsim.to. But you have to have it running in order to fly certain helicopters, like the R-44. So we're just going to Alt-Tab into it, because, again, it's going to ask me to load a profile, and we'll go all down all that when we get there. So I'm just going to go ahead and go back into here, and I know it's not loaded, so we're going to go here, we're going to go to my hangar, and we are going to find the R-44. And the H-125 also uses the AirLand FS, but we are going to fly the R-44. So there's the R-44, and I'll pick my own livery. There we are. Okay, so I've got my helicopter, I've got the livery that I want, and let's find a place to fly from. So right now, using live weather, Japan is a nice place to fly. And we have also another freeware add-on, is some of these heliports for the ones that aren't already in the flight sim. So we're going to pick Tokyo Heliport. We're going to set it as our departure. We're going to make sure that our throttle or our collective is all the way down. So we set it as our departure. We have our helicopter. By default, it should have half a tank of gas. And just keep in mind, I am using, a full stick and throttle HOTAS setup with rudder pedals. And I highly recommend that for anyone, or at least a yoke. But especially when it's coming to flying helicopters, it's nice to have a stick versus a yoke. Some people have both. So let's let this load, and once the helicopter loads, or once it loads, here we are. We are not ready to fly. See, it says aircraft not loaded, AirLand FS disabled. There we are. And the engine's going. And I have the GTN 70 loaded, so I have a nice little GPS I can look at. And again, AirLand FS is disabled, so in theory, if I throttle it all the way up, this thing should go nowhere. Right. And so you'd say to yourself, well, why? Why does it do that? Well, because you didn't load your profile. So if I go to AirLand FS, here we are. We brought up the screen, so you'd launch the program or Alt-Tab it. And you generally, like with the R-44, you want to launch it after you've already loaded the helicopter. And it says load profile. and you load your profile, and I have them right here in the AirlandFS FS profiles. I created a profile folder for them, and I put my profile configuration file, which comes with the helicopter, comes with the aircraft. I'm choosing blue because it's a little bit easier than the black configuration. I highlighted it, I open it, and now it says author, here we go, profile was loaded, and so it's blue config. So now I can go back to the sim, and now that I've loaded my AirLand FS profile, I'm going to turn off the landing light, and you know what, why not, for fun, this comes with floats, so let's engage the floats. Maybe I'll land on some water if I don't crash. And then that was the clutch, that was the brake. Now, bear with me here. I'm not the world's best helicopter pilot, even in the land of Sims. So this is going to be an adventure for all of us. Okay, so we got our landing lights off, and we are here. We got our floats on, and we've got our little derpicopter here. And it really is a fun helicopter. So we're going to gently, and this would be our collective, by the way. See, as I give it some throttle, the collective gets pulled up. Then we're going to left rudder as we come up gently. Now, again, there's this helicopter, and there are others that use AirLand FS, and there's the H145 and the H135. Now the H135 and the H145 are much more forgiving than the R44. Sometimes when you use AirLand FS, if you overspeed, you automatically stress the aircraft and you're done. If you try and apply too much rudder pedal to maybe straighten out a little bit, like you can in the H145 and the 135, it doesn't like it. If you come down too hard for a landing, well, it's kind of like more like a real helicopter, I guess, in that sense, where you've really got to kind of feather it down as you come down. And assuming that I land right and not hit the bridge. The H145 also lets you land on the water, but so does the R44, so let's kind of come in, and we're going too fast. And I'm really just trying to demonstrate this for you. And I've been flying the Cessna Skymaster for days. So, this might not look too good. This is really not how you should land a helicopter, right? Oh, good landing, 8.4 feet. Okay, so probably not the best landing. Now, remember, I just landed in the water. And so, of course, it's going to say good landing every time it bobs in the water, and it's going to move around in the water. It's not going to stay put. But you can, in the R44, land in the water with the floats. If you don't enable the floats, it won't land in the water. And you can land on the ground as well. And we can just kind of come back. So that's basically how you would use AirLand FS to fly these helicopters. And let's not hit the power lines. So, and mind you, landing in the water is a little easier than actually trying to land on a helipad. It's not as small of a target to land on. And again, I mean, you can see that you can, you know, kind of fly wherever you want, as long as you stay above the buildings. And you don't exceed the manifold pressure or the engine RPM, you're good. And I do like this helicopter. Don't really use it as much as I should. And again, I use the blue configuration, not the black. If there's any expert pilots out there that like to use the black configuration, be my guest. So let's try this. I don't know how well we're going to land. See, flying sideways, correct pedals. Now, if you fly sideways too long on the R44, it will say that you've overstressed the aircraft. And it'll even let you go into a vortex state sometimes. So, you gotta really master this thing. And, you know, maybe if anyone out there is an actual helicopter pilot, then you could say, hey, you know what? That's what helicopters really do. So you can see that I actually have to make nice, long, wide turns to get to where I want to get to. And I don't want to overspeed. And, you know, like I said, I'm not the best at flying helicopters, so we're just going to try and put this thing on the ground. That's a challenge enough. Because the whole question is can we? I haven't flown this thing in a month. Alright. And I am not so sure. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. I don't think that we're going to be too successful today. I mean, and actually, it may just give you that. Let you know that we're flying too sideways and, you know. Like I said, I'm not really the best helicopter pilot. So, a little more throttle. And yes, I think out loud. Especially when it comes to something like this. Yeah, I'm a little helicopter challenged here. Good landing. Okay, well, let's get a little more up. Dead center. And on the pad. Without crashing. Oh, is it going to tell me I crashed? No. Okay, so there we are. At least for this demonstration, you can see that there we are. We're in. And let's see, I want to shut this down, so... Sorry, excuse me. So let's see. Fuel off. Clutch up. And there's a magneto switch, so... No, wrong way. Wrong way. Turn the magneto off. I guess it's off. Okay. We don't need nav lights. So anyhow, that's kind of how you fly using AirLand FS. And a little extra with the R44. We're going to open our door again because I don't want to sit in here. And there you go. I've turned all the power off, so AirLand FS is not enabled, and there's our R44. Oh, well, we finally got it centered on the pad. Center-ish. So, again, AirLand FS is what you need to use to fly a majority of the helicopters in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Um, unless it's one of the ones made by the High Performance Group, like the H145, which is a payware, and the H135, which is their freeware version. Still great helicopters. Just right now, two different ways of doing it. And then there's the Bell helicopter, and it comes with its own software. I'm just not going to cover that one today. So I hope this was helpful to anyone who's wanting to fly helicopters in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Um, you know, it can be done. You just need that third-party AirLand FS software, keeping it up to date, and you have to load the configuration files from each individual helicopter that you want to fly. And you can tweak settings, but we're not going to go into that. This is just a basic demonstration. So I hope you guys are having a great time flying, and I look forward to seeing you in the sky. Before you go, if you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe.